everybody. Tonight we're debating atheism versus Islam, and we're starting right now with Muslim Apologist opening statement. Thanks so much for being with us. The floor is all yours.
Thank you, James. Thank you also to my opponent, TJump. So I have prepared several points here regarding basically what I believe atheism has problem with from an Islamic viewpoint, basically. Well, I could have listed a lot of points, but since we only have 10 minutes for an opening statement, so I've kept it to 5 major points, which I think is crucial. And for me as a Muslim, I find very, very, how would I say, difficult to accept atheism as a valid philosophy for life, right? So basically, what I understand about atheism is that it is the belief in the non-existence of God. Now, why do I say belief? Because I'm pretty sure there will be a lot of atheists who would reject that. They will say, no, we don't have a belief. We don't believe in a theistic religion, or we don't believe in God. But that's exactly the point, because atheists don't have any evidence that God does not exist. So basically, they believe that God doesn't exist. So in a way, in a very oxymoronic and ionic way, atheism is actually a religion in itself, because it's basically a religion or a belief system that does not believe in God, that rejects God's existence. Okay. So going back to my 5 points, my 5 major points on why I reject atheism as a Muslim. Okay, so atheism, or the atheistic ideology, for me it relies or focuses too much on the ego, okay, or the worship of the self, or what in philosophy we refer to as selfism. Okay, so its philosophy is basically ambiguous, and it's eclectic, meaning it always changes according to the person adopting that specific viewpoint, that particular Weton Shaung, okay, that particular Weton Shaung. So an atheist cannot say that his atheism or his approach to atheism is the same as the other person or the other atheist, because if you ask two atheists in a room about a particular viewpoint or a particular moral precept, both will give different answers. Okay, so to me, atheism, morality or ethics as defined in atheism, okay, is a totally abstract concept. Okay, it only revolves around the self. Okay, and let's say I give an example. Let's say if a particular atheist finds incest, okay, to be morally ethical, okay, what is there to prevent them from doing so? Because as a Muslim, I find incest to be actually abhorrent and against my own moral values, all right? But an atheist have no reason to reject incest, okay? It is totally valid to them in their viewpoint, because there's nothing which says that they cannot do it, right? So similarly, okay, if a particular atheist finds cannibalism or even rape to be ethical, what moral law or what moral ethic or what particular rule is there to prevent them from doing so? What is exactly the point for them to say no to that? Because there's no reason for them to say no. They can actually accept it, okay? Because they don't have a book, they don't believe in God, they don't have a book to tell them what to do, they don't have any laws. So why should they not? Why should they not commit rape? Why should they not commit cannibalism? They can accept this easily, right? Okay. So of course there will be atheists who say, no, we are not cannibals. We are against rape. We are against theft. We are against robbery, etc. Yes, you do say this, but the problem here is that whatever morality that you say that you adhere to, it originally came from your former religion. Okay, if you were, let's say, if you were a Christian, if you were a Muslim, you were a Buddhist, then later on in life you decide to become an atheist, whatever moral values that you adopt prior to your rejection of religion will be carried over, right? So basically, whatever moral precept or ethics that you believe now as an atheist came from when you were raised in, or how you were raised. Okay, it did not come from the principles of atheism itself, because atheism as a moral value or moral ethic is totally vacant on it, right? So okay, so now this is my second point. Okay, atheism, for me, it's a big issue for me. Okay, atheism doesn't give a definitive answer to the question of man's origin or the purpose of man on earth, right? So can atheism answer where did man come from? What is the purpose of man? What is the purpose of him being on earth? What is his moral imperative? I mean, is he here? Is mankind here simply to live and reproduce and then die like an animal? So what happens after death? The issue of afterlife. Where does the soul go? I mean, do atheists actually believe in a soul? You just believe that we just live and we die and then the soul dissipates into nothing? Is that the answer that atheism can give me? Okay. And what happens after death? Will there be any retribution for misdeeds that you commit? Will there be any repercussions for what you have done on earth? Let's say if you have committed a crime and robbery or whatever, but you were never arrested for it, and then when you die it just ends there. I mean, what is the justice in that? Okay. So going back to that particular point, so we have in history we have people like Hitler, like Stalin, like Pol Pot. These people were never tried for their crimes. I mean, Hitler shot himself, okay, in his bunker. Then they never actually put him on trial for anything. Stalin died an old man. Pol Pot, same thing. Okay, so what happened? What will happen to these people? Okay, these people committed mass murders. Okay, Hitler sent the Jews to gas chambers. Right. So where is the justice? Where is the retribution for Hitler if Hitler simply dies and it ends there? I mean, death for him will be a sweet escape from the punishment of this earth if atheism is correct and mankind just expires and disappears, okay, and that there is no God, okay. So will these people actually face justice for their misdeeds? I mean, where is the justice in this, right? So that's my second point. Now my third point, atheism to me is inherently hedonistic, and it also leads to fatalism, okay. It gives man no real purpose to life or living, okay. So basically atheism is saying that mankind just lives and it is so, and we just continue our own miserable lives. We go to work and we come back to work, we sleep, we eat and we reproduce and we die and it ends. That's the story. I mean, so what is the purpose of life? I mean, what would be the purpose of this apart from living your life as it is? And going back to the point being hedonistic, why do you need to bother obeying social laws? I mean, why do you need to obey the traffic rules or laws on penal codes or criminal laws or whatever when your life has no further consequences, okay, after you die, okay. So whatever repercussions that you have done here on earth, you don't actually face them if you die, okay, after you die. So what would be the point of of obeying such laws? I mean, if you want to commit rape, you want to commit murder, and you can escape that, you can escape the laws here on earth. After you die, there's nothing. I mean, I hope you get the point, right? So beyond the need to survive and to reproduce, man has no reason to exist. This is what atheism actually argues for, okay. So even the desire to gain knowledge, okay, or even self-improvement is meaningless, because when one dies, all this knowledge, all this um, wealth, and I mean, all the self-improvement, all the learning that you get. Let's say, you know how to do math, you know how to do chemistry, you know how to do, history, etc. All this knowledge, all this grand wealth of human knowledge. When you die, it becomes nothing. Okay. I mean, of course, there will be people who will carry on forward your work, but what benefit does it bring to you yourself as a human, as a human being? I mean, it just ends there when you die. You see. So so this is my third point. Okay. Now my fourth point. Okay.
Got about 1 minute
Atheism.
left.
Yes. All right. So I'll make it quick. Okay. Atheism leads to serious mental health issues. Okay. So there are problems such as depression and eventually suicide. So I'm going to show here a small. If you give me one second to share this. Right. So
The share is almost ready. They can't see your screen yet. It says Muslim Apologist has started screen sharing. Double click to enter full screen mode, which for me, that I don't want to enter the full screen mode. Just want to let you know that your slides aren't showing yet. Are you there? Can you hear
He's
me?
muted. He's muted.
Oh, Muslim Apologist, I just asked you to unmute. It should show a window that'll pop up, but I also can't see your slides yet. Muslim Apologist, we cannot see your slides, and we can't hear you either.
Oh, sorry. I mean, when I show my slides, I got muted by itself. So I'm afraid I can't show the statistics. But anyway, just to make it quick, the stats actually say that the number of atheists who die from suicide is higher than theists. Right. So this proves my point that atheism leads to mental health issues. Right. And according to studies, higher religiousness results in higher meaning in life, whereas atheism and agnostic beliefs result in suicidal thoughts. Okay, so my last point, since I only have like 1 minute left. Okay, so the last point is that atheism has made no significant contribution to mankind or to civilization. Okay, there is no such thing as an atheist civilization. Okay, the closest that we probably have to atheists dictating state policy or state atheism are countries like North Korea, People's Republic of China, Soviet Union, and Cuba. At least until for in the case of Cuba, it was until 1992, right? So as we all know, these countries aren't exactly the moral paradigm or values. There's a lot of intolerance of minorities, persecution, etc., and enforce state ideology upon the population. And with this, I end my presentation. Thank you very much for allowing me to speak. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you very much. And want to let you know, folks, if it's your first time here at Modern Day Debate, we are a neutral platform hosting debates on science, religion, and politics. We hope you feel welcome no matter what walk of life you are from. And we're going to kick it over to Tom for his opening statement. But thank you very much, Tom. And 1 second, I'm going to reverse the screens because they just flipped on me. I'm not sure why. But go ahead, Tom. The floor is all yours.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry about that. My Zoom like crashed, I think. I don't know what that was about. Yeah, so apparently our debate is about Islam versus atheism, but I didn't hear any evidence presented for Islam, just complaints that he doesn't like atheism or he doesn't like the fact that we don't make stuff up. Like the biggest objection here is that yeah, atheists don't make stuff up about answers they don't know the answer to. We just say except we don't know. So we could make stuff up. Like here's the biggest kicker is that all atheists could make up answers just like theists do. What is the meaning of life? Well, potato. That's the meaning of life. And now I have an equally valid answer to Islam because Islam has no evidence. So anybody can make up any answer they want to the questions of life and give an answer. The question is there any evidence to support it? And there's no evidence to support anything Islam says. It's completely made up. It's just an arbitrary assertion, just like all religions. So atheism prefers to go with like the actual evidential positions and go with what we actually know is the case rather than make stuff up, which means atheism is inherently the better position. Secondly, atheism does more for the world than literally any other position. Like atheism, most of the highest ranking scientists in the world are atheists. Like go to the National Academy of Sciences or the Royal Society. Percent of theists is 5%. 5% of people believe in a God. The vast majority do not believe in a God. It's the case that so atheism has done more for pretty much literally everything in the world than Islam has. Non-secular societies have the absolute best stats, the least crime, the least rape, the least divorce, the most education, the highest standard of living, the highest access to food. Literally, the less religious you go, the better society is in literally every measurable respect. And the more religious you go, the worse it is in literally every measurable respect. There's this common theme among theists that they're confused. They don't understand that cherry picking the worst examples of atheism, like Hitler or Stalin, which aren't atheists at all, or not atheist organizations whatsoever, still doesn't show that atheism is bad, because guess what? Most atheists are better than those two and don't adhere to those two. So saying that they're the example of atheism is like saying that the people who flew planes into the Twin Towers are the pinnacle of Islam. So his argument that Stalin and Mao are examples of atheists and that what atheists are really like is like if I said, well, every Muslim is like the terrorists who flew planes into the Twin Towers, like cherry picking the worst examples and then using those as a way to try and claim that is the epitome of that ideology. Secondly, Hitler and Stalin and Mao had nothing to do with atheism. Atheism is literally a not belief. They literally lack something. Calling any of those movements atheist movements is like calling them non-golf player movements. Hitler didn't play golf, and that's what inspired him to kill all the Jews. Well, clearly not. The fact that he didn't play golf or the fact that he didn't believe in God can never be a positive motivating factor in what inspired him to do the things he did. He must have a positive motivating belief to cause those actions, which was his political beliefs, not atheism. So we can prove definitively, as every single academic everywhere in the world admits, that those are not atheist movements because they have literally nothing to do with atheism, because it's not actually a positive belief. You have to be an idiot to think that those are atheist movements, which most theists are conveniently. Secondly, we know that all of the evidence indicates there is no God. All of the academic fields in literally everything from biology, math, physics, cosmology, philosophy, all atheists, all of them. None of them have ever corroborated a God. God has been proven false in pretty much every realm it could have been. There is no evidence to support the existence of God whatsoever. Just nothing. And so theists decry, they complain that, well, you guys don't have an explanation for the meaning of life or how the universe began or whatever. It's all just arguments from ignorance. Those are literally called arguments from ignorance. It doesn't make a good argument. It's saying you don't know, therefore you're wrong. Clearly not the case. In fact, it's usually always the other way around. The people who claim to know are always wrong, which has been proven by religion time and time again. Where they think they know something, they're always proven wrong by science, which is secular. So all of his assertions are clearly incorrect. And I can address most of his criticisms about what he thinks about atheism later. Morality, most philosophers are atheists. 70%-ish are atheists, and 66% believe in objective morality without a God. You don't need a God for that. Theists are just making stuff up. They think you need a God because of their biased opinions. You don't, and which you haven't for the beginning of time. Morality did not come from religion. The moral beliefs of most humans have nothing to do with religion. It has to do with biology. We know this because we can see morality in animals, apes, chimpanzees, most mammals, elephants, dolphins, pig, you name it, we can see morality in it, which none of them have a religion. So clearly we can prove definitively morality has nothing to do with religion, just scientific facts. What else? Morality is abstract. He's made up an invisible sky daddy, and he thinks that grounds morality, and he's calling someone else's morality abstract is kind of ironic, since all he's done is made up his own imaginary friend and called that a basis of objective morality. So theistic objective morality is actually the most abstract of any, because it has no basis in philosophy, whereas the secular models of morality do have a basis in philosophy. They're much better models, as we can see in my debate with David Wood. I demonstrated that secularism is a much better grounds of morality than theism, because theism doesn't answer any of the questions that we're asking in order of a model of morality. In order to assess which model is better scientifically, we can look at the evidence. The evidence more indicates all of the secular views are more rational. In order to assess which view is better politically, we can assess the consequences in society. Consequences in society say that atheist societies are objectively better in every measurable way. So that's really the only two ways I can think of to assess which is better, and atheism wins on both, hands down. I'll conclude there.
You got it. Thank you very much for that opening statement. And we're going to go into open dialogue, folks. So, want to let you know it's going to be a juicy one tomorrow morning, whether or not ex-Muslims should be punished, as you can see in the bottom right of your screen. That debate is going to be a lively one. You don't want to miss it. Hit that subscribe button, as we are absolutely pumped for it, and I'll be there tomorrow morning to moderate that. But gentlemen, thanks so much. The floor is all yours.
Yeah. So should I respond to TJump basically?
Go for it.
All right. So I noted his points. Okay. So TJump said is that there's no evidence for the sky daddy, right? So for Muslims it's not an issue because we do have the evidence, and it's called the Quran. Okay. Because we believe that the Quran is literally the word of God that came from the sky. Okay, so if Christians believe that the word was made flesh, then we believe as Muslims that the word was made book, okay, which is the Quran. So the Quran actually issues several challenges to non-believers, to disbelievers, to imitate the Quran, to be like it, and to create a surah exactly like it in Arabic with the Arab grammatical rules. And then until today, no one has ever managed to do that. Okay, so of course you may say that this is not objective, this is subjective, but actually there are many scholars, okay, who actually say this challenge is actually very objective. Okay, so there are many excuses from people who don't know Arabic who say that this challenge is meaningless, this challenge has no basis whatsoever, but it's actually a very objective challenge, right? The next point.
So you're saying that the Quran existing is evidence? Because it's not. I don't know, like a book like Harry Potter, the book Harry Potter existing isn't evidence of Harry Potter being magic. So I don't understand what you think how that is in any way evidence of God, that it was written in a book by farm herders 2,000 years ago or thousands of years ago.
Well, you see, because the Quran was written in a very beautiful Arabic prose, okay, something which no man could ever imitate. So the challenge is simple: to create something of similar value which can defeat the Arabic prose of the Quran.
Okay, the prose of the Quran aren't evidence of a God. One, they're not very beautiful; they're pretty crappy. Secondly, we know literally who wrote them, so none of that's evidence. The fact that it's pretty words are not evidence.
But you are just denying. But basically, you're just denying. You're just dismissing the challenge, okay? Because the Quran openly challenges this, right? So if you don't want to accept it, it's not the challenge of trying to imitate the surah of the Quran. See, so if you are just dismissing
say then I can't do anything. Of what is the challenge?
The challenge is basically to create a surah like the Quran in Arabic.
Okay, Harry Potter is more beautiful in every way than the Quran. Quran defeated.
No, it's not. It's not. It's in English. You have to do it in Arabic.
Because Arabic is not beautiful. Like your subjective opinion about Arabic isn't evidence of a God.
But you are being subjective. But that is your subjective opinion in saying that Arabic is not beautiful. Okay.
Right. So you need to do it in Arabic. Point. What you presented as evidence was your subjective opinion that Arabic is beautiful is evidence of a God. That's not evidence of God, because everybody's subjective opinion.
I would, but as someone who has studied many languages, I mean, I do study English, Malay.
It doesn't matter how many languages Chinese, you study. Pretty language isn't an objective.
But basically, I'm saying after having studied so many languages, I find Arabic to be the most beautiful.
I don't care what you think is the most beautiful.
But that's precisely the problem, because you don't care. You see, you're not willing to face the Quranic challenge.
The amount of you studying languages is not evidence of your ability to discover which is the most beautiful. That's not how it works. Beauty, not.
I'm saying that Arabic is a beautiful language based on what I understand.
I don't care. You don't get to make that decision. If you
reject that, that's not exactly the issue here. You see, I mean, I know it's subjective,
yes, it is.
But the point is, the Quran made a challenge, and all you need to do is actually to hire anyone.
You're waffling. You're not addressing the point. The point is that you thinking it's beautiful isn't evidence. That's you making crap up. So you thinking it's beautiful, doesn't matter how much you've studied language. Your expertise in knowing languages doesn't assess you to assess beauty objectively. So no, your opinion about which is beautiful is not evidence that It is beautiful, and it's not. And even if it was beautiful, that's not evidence of God. So none of what you said is actually evidence of God. It's just you feel the Quran is beautiful. That's all you said.
No, I'm saying that language is beautiful. I'm not just saying the Quran is beautiful.
That's your opinion, which is not evidence of anything.
Yes, it is evidence if you meet the Quranic challenge.
No.
It's that simple.
Oh my God. That's so stupid. So this stick is beautiful. It's the most beautiful thing in the world. It's evidence of the spaghetti monster. Make a more beautiful stick. Oh, you can't because it's my subjective opinion that the stick is beautiful.
But that's not the challenge.
That's how stupid what you just said is.
No, that's not the challenge. That's not the challenge. And you're being subjective. You're just being argumentative. You see?
Oh my God.
You see, you're just pulling at strings.
Oh my God.
Because the Quran
so tell me
says
which part of this is not your argument. So your argument is I have a beautiful stick. It's beautiful because I've studied sticks a lot, and so I think this is the most beautiful stick. And the reason it's evidence. Stop! Don't interrupt. And the reason this is evidence is because you can't make a more beautiful stick based on my subjective opinion. Therefore, this is evidence of my stick god, the spaghetti monster. That's how stupid what you just said is.
But the point is, it's not subjective. It's objective. You can actually measure the beauty of the Quran or basically the Arabic language with certain meters, with certain grammatical rules. Okay. So how are you going to measure the beauty of the stick? No, how are you going to measure the beauty of a stick? Can you tell me how?
That's the
how do you do that?
There's no.
I can measure the beauty of the Arabic prose, but how are you going to measure the length of the stick?
Look how beautiful the length of the stick is and how shiny it is. I can measure the shininess of the stick, and that's how beautiful it is.
Why would the shininess of the stick be beautiful? It doesn't make any sense. I mean, that is not the challenge. You are just making up strawmans.
That's the question. It's like, why is the shininess of the stick beautiful? Why is the prose of the language beautiful? It's just stuff you're making up.
No, it's not what I'm making up. This is what the Quran says. Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So anyway,
so again, making shit up and thinking it's beautiful is not evidence that it's objective. Even if it was beautiful, that still wouldn't be evidence.
It's something very objective. Yeah, it's something. I mean, if you want to reject it, it's fine by me. I can move on. I have several points here.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Yeah. I don't know how you can be so deluded to think that because you think it's beautiful, that's objective. That's literally the opposite of objective. Like, oh my God.
It's not about being beautiful. It's about meeting the Quranic challenge to defeat the Arabic prose of the Quran. It's not just about beauty.
No.
It's not just about
you don't understand how evidence works.
Methods. Yeah.
You presenting a challenge.
I don't think you're understanding how the Quranic challenge is.
Just because there are so many points that were brought up, this one we've definitely delved into pretty well. Maybe it's time that we move into a different one.
Sure. Is there any other evidence?
Okay. Yeah.
Is there any
evidence? I have a lot here. I have a whole
list
here. I have a whole list here. All right.
Okay, give me one at a time. Just one.
Yeah,
give me one.
Sure, I can do that. Let me see now. You said that you say that just now that there's no evidence of God because you cannot see God, but not seeing God, not knowing.
I never said that.
I mean, that's pretty much what you meant. Okay, so
no, it's not at all.
You say that there's no evidence for God. Basically, you're saying there's no evidence for God.
You have no idea what you're talking about. You have no idea what my position is.
Okay, sure. Then, can you repeat your? Okay, sure. Then you repeat your argument. Why don't you repeat?
There's no evidence of God. Give me evidence.
Exactly. So because you say that there's no evidence of God, therefore there's no God. I mean, that's just for me that's just argument from silence. I mean, just because something doesn't have an evidence doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. Okay.
Yes, but that's not the argument.
Yeah. So anyway, can you show me evidence that there is no God?
Yes.
Yeah.
Most things human make up in.
How do you show it? How do you?
Okay, I'm literally doing that. So stop interrupting. Most things people make up in their head are imaginary and don't exist. The God belief is something people made up in their head with no evidence. Therefore, it's reasonable to believe the God belief is imaginary, just like all the other things people make up in their head. Conclusion, it's rational to believe God is an imaginary thing made up in human's head and nothing more.
So if I imagine that your mother doesn't exist, does it mean that your mom didn't exist?
Did you not understand the argument here? So the argument is most things people make up in their head with no evidence are not real things. They're imaginary things. If you have an idea which someone has made up in their head and it has no evidence, then it's reasonable to conclude it's an imaginary thing. Your mother has evidence. So it's not just something people made up in their head. It's something people made up in their head and has evidence.
But I don't have evidence that your mom exists.
Yes, you do.
What is the evidence?
I can go further.
I mean, I can
Let me
go
answer
further
the
than that. I
question.
can say your grandparents don't exist, or your
Let me
great
answer the
grandparents
question.
don't exist. You see, that's the point.
I can answer the question. I don't need you
Yeah,
to explain more. I
yeah,
already know what you asked.
yeah,
I can answer the
yeah,
question.
yeah,
So the answer
yeah,
to the
sure.
question is, it's because I'm here and you understand how biology works, and there's lots of empirical evidence of how biology works and how parents come from grandparents, et cetera, et cetera. You have sufficient evidence to include, yes, I have grandparents and great-grandparents and
For all you
great-great-grandparents
know,
and
you
great-great-great-grandparents.
but the thing is, for all I know, you could have been an alien coming down from somewhere.
Yes, you don't need proof. Evidence isn't proof. Evidence is something you have, even if you don't have proof.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I can speculate where you come from. It doesn't matter, right? I mean, if that
What?
is the reasoning that you use to deny God's existence, then I think it's a weak one.
No.
Because you're saying that just because someone thinks that God exists, therefore God doesn't exist. I mean,
No, that's not what I said.
yes, and yet, life itself is evidence. I mean, okay, I'm going to argue this from the Quran, because the Quran actually discusses this point. So basically, life as it is evidence that God exists. Okay.
How?
So the fact that you are here is the
Wait,
reason
how
that
how
God
is it
exists.
evidence?
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so pretty sure you are aware of the biological process where, when you are when someone is when a human is being created, there are thousands of sperm that goes into the womb, etc., and there's only one
Sex.
ovum. So out of this 1 million sperm, only one can fertilize the ovum. So are you going to say that only out of this 1 million sperm, there's only the one infinite chance for the ovum to be to fertilize and become a human, merely by chance, merely by nothing? It's just a coincidence. Your creation is just a coincidence. There's nothing dictating the will of this happening.
No,
You understand
sperm
what I mean?
don't have a will. All sperm are swimming into the same spot trying to get
Yes,
into the ovum.
there's 1 million, but there's 1 million sperm, you see. So out of this 1 million sperm, only one fertilizes the ovum. So how is it possible?
If we
Without
go
the
to
will
the
of God?
ocean, if we go to the ocean and I toss in a piece of bread, only one of the millions of fish will get to eat the bread.
No, that's not necessarily true. That's not necessarily true.
Oh,
Why is that true? Why is that
so
true?
if you throw in a tiny breadcrumb, a single piece of breadcrumb, and it's bigger and it's smaller than a fish's mouth, and a fish eats the entire thing all at once, then one fish will get the piece, and that'll be it. No more bread. Bread gone.
I don't get the logic, because I think you're just doing fallacy or equivocation. Yeah, that's not my point. That's not my argument, actually. That's not my argument. My argument is the fact my argument is that the fact that you exist out of this 1 million chance shows that that God does exist. You are created because of the will of God. If you get what I mean. I'm not sure whether you get what I mean.
So 1 million chance that a sperm goes into an egg, therefore God.
Yes.
So there's a 1 million chance that I throw the piece of bread and the fish that eats it. Wait. Let me finish. Whatever fish eats it, there is a 1 in a million chance that one fish would eat it. Does that prove that I'm a God and that I designed it specifically for that fish? No, it was just chance, because there's a lot of them. So if there's a lot of things and only one of them can get the prize, then that's just probability. It's like a dice. If there's a dice with a million sides, one of them is red, and it lands on the red one eventually. It's not proof of a God.
Yeah, was it Einstein? Wasn't it Einstein who said God doesn't play dice with the universe?
Yes,
Einstein,
and by God he meant
is
pantheism, not a mind. So pantheism, as in just nature, not a mind.
But you're leaving it to random chance. I mean, this is just simply random. It just happens out of nothing. That, for me, this is I think this sounds as though you're making it up in your head. It goes back to your argument about making things up in your head. You see,
I don't make it up if it's a demonstrated part of reality.
Yeah.
If it's a demonstrated part of reality, that's literally the opposite of making it
You're
up.
just assuming, just simply because you're throwing a breadcrumb into the ocean, and then therefore there's only one fish, and then therefore it doesn't mean that you are the creator. You're just making it up in your head. I don't see why. How is this evidence for no God? I see.
That's called an analogy.
This is not evidence for no God. It's just simply something you're making up in your head.
No, that was a counter to your argument. So your argument is an event that is highly improbable is evidence of a God. And then I created an event that is highly improbable that had no designer. So that disproves your argument that something that is highly improbable is evidence of a designer or a God. No, it's not.
But the thing is, I can argue it this way. The fact that you threw the breadcrumb was by the will of God.
What?
You see, the fact that you threw the breadcrumb to give the fish to eat is evidence that God willed you
God
to
damn it.
do that action. You see, so
No.
it doesn't prove that there is no God. It doesn't prove that there's no God. That's what I'm trying to say.
Nothing
Okay.
you're saying is making any sense right now. So the reason there's no God is because any belief humans make up in their imagination that has no evidence is by definition defaulted to be just a thing a human made up in their imagination.
Okay, fine. Then I think oxygen doesn't exist because I don't see oxygen anywhere. I think oxygen is a made up thing in my head.
Okay, well,
How
we've
would you argue
empirically
to that?
demonstrated it, so that would be a good start.
How will you empirically demonstrate it if I don't see oxygen in my life? I have never seen oxygen in my life. All I hear
Because
is
we can
theories,
literally
history.
break it apart.
All I know is
combine it.
that there's molecules and particles and atoms, but I've never seen a molecule or atom in my life.
Yeah, that's what
Why would-
science does. Science proves it's real. So can you prove God is real like science proves things are real?
Well, I just did by showing the human
No, you didn't do
creation.
it. Like you didn't do any of that. So how would you
There's
scientifically
many.
provide
Well,
evidence?
let me finish. There's many other evidences. I mean, you can actually, there's a whole plethora of evidence you can choose from. Okay, it's not just about humans creation. It's also about the animals, about plants, life itself. Okay, the fact that the sun and earth is in orbit. Okay, the space itself, the stars, the moon. I mean, all this came from chance. Okay, how you're just saying that all this just happened by coincidence,
No,
and
laws of physics.
there's no purpose to life apart from just us being here, exist, palm like as it is without any. So you are just you're just simply assuming that everything just exists in this life, and there's no creator. If I were to throw okay, I'm going to give an analogy. If I were to throw a bunch of Lego blocks on the ground, would that Lego block suddenly become a castle? Can you
The
answer
correct
that?
laws of physics forced it to.
Yeah.
Like what? None of what you're saying is evidence.
I mean, if I throw a bunch of Lego blocks and I throw it to the ground, would that bunch of Lego blocks on the ground suddenly form into a castle?
If there were laws of
It's a
physics
simple
that forced
question.
them to, yes.
I've never seen that happen. I mean, is it
Because
even
there aren't any
logically
laws of
acceptable?
physics that force them to.
So you're saying laws of physics doesn't exist now?
No, there aren't any laws of physics that make Legos go into a Lego structure. There are laws of physics that force life to form. There are laws of physics that form galaxies to form. There are laws of physics that create solar systems. Those are all determined by laws of physics.
Yes, and who determines the laws of physics? Who
Nobody.
creates the laws of physics?
Nobody. They're uncreated. They're necessary things that have always been there.
Why would it be necessary if there's nothing created by chance? Everything is by chance. Nothing happens. I mean, there's no purpose to it. It just
Absolutely
happens by
nothing
chance.
you just said makes sense.
So basically, you're saying out of a few million probabilities that could have happened, this particular thing happened, which is the galaxy forming out of nothing. Is that what you're saying?
No.
So you're saying that there is something creating this?
No, it's uncreated. It's necessary. It's always been there. It's always been the way it is. It's determined by physical forces.
If it determines, then who determines the physical forces?
No, they were not determined. They're uncreated, never created, necessary things that don't need a creator. No creator.
So okay, so I'll just conclude this because I don't see the point of continuing this particular argument. That is so if E equals to mc square, right?
Yes.
Who determines the law E equals to mc square?
Reality.
Why E equals to mc square? Why
because
can
it
E equals to
reality.
why can E equals to m square c, for example?
Because it describes reality. Like, why does 1 + 1 = 2? Because that describes reality.
So who describes reality? Who determines this?
Nobody. It's just a description of reality.
So everything is by chance, according to you?
No, it's by necessity. It's a necessary result of physics. There's no chance there.
Who decides?
Necessary.
But then who decides what is necessary and what is not?
No one. No one decides. It just is necessary. That's what necessary means. It means it's not decided. It's very simple. The words literally mean no one decides.
Honestly, I think you're in denial, but it's okay. Okay, yeah, I think I must move. All right. So anyway, the next point. Okay, yeah, next point. All right. So yeah, I'm going to do this point. Islamic civilization. Okay. So atheism doesn't bring any civilization. So I have a book here called Islam and Civilization, Critical Viewpoints. Okay, it's written by M.A.J. Beck. In here, there's a list of achievements by the Islamic civilization. Okay, so how the Arab world grew from Islam when Islam first burst into the scene in the world. So it tells me how the Arabs conquered the islands of Cyprus, etc., and then how the Ottomans ruled over the Balkans, how Islam contributed to world culture and sciences and civilization. Now my question is simple: what has atheism or atheist philosophers or whoever contributed to the world? Okay, in terms equal to that of the Islamic civilization, which lasted for thousands of years, and even until today we have the Muslim world. So what has
Most
atheism
healthcare saved more
contributed?
lives, gave more education, provided more services, solved more diseases, more scientific
Yeah, and
discoveries, better healthcare.
how many years old is that? How many years old is that? How long did that take? I mean,
So
how old
in
is
the
that?
past 200 years, the atheists have made more progress than in the past 2,000 years of the religious people who didn't do jack. So in the past 200 years, atheism has done more than all of religion combined. Yes.
But the thing is, Islam came in the 600s, in the year 650 plus, and it has risen to become a great empire, and it has contributed a lot to sciences. That's much more than what atheism, if you say so, atheism contributed in 200 years.
No,
Okay?
you banned
So
math and science
in
and
fact,
became the lowest level society on the planet. So you're not actually
no,
doing anything right now.
Muslims has never banned math and science. In fact,
Yes, they
Muslims were the
literally
founders
have.
of modern science. In fact, the father of mathematics is is Al-Khwarizmi. Okay, Al-Khwarizmi was a Persian scholar, a Muslim scholar
Yeah.
who founded algorithm and algebra. Without which we won't be even having this discussion, because
Yeah, clearly you don't
algorithms
understand
and
the
algebra
difference. You
is the
don't
basis
understand the
of
difference
computer.
between starting something and then someone else banning things later. Like clearly those are two separate things. You just
He
don't
started
understand.
something, yes, but then people improvise on it. Without that basic sciences, there will be nothing. You see, there will be nothing.
No,
So what?
it would still be
So what?
invented.
What? So what
No,
sciences have
no.
atheists found? I mean, apart from building upon other
So
people's
again,
successes.
no, you're wrong. Even if no Muslims ever existed, we'd still have all the science we do today. They just have different names behind it. So nothing they did was
I'll
significant.
beg
Pretty
to
much.
differ, because I have a book here somewhere here, The World Without Islam.
Yeah, I have a book called Harry Potter, and that's about as much evidence as you have too.
I forgot his name. I'm sorry, but I have this book called The World Without Islam, and in this book, the author argues that without Islam, most of the things that we have today will not be achieved. Okay, so your argument is just
that's
in your
dumb.
mind. Okay, in your mind. It's all in your mind. It's all in your mind.
Okay, so
You're
that
just
book
being
is dumb.
theoretical.
Done. Problem solved.
Then you will need to critique that book properly, because without that, I'm not obliged to accept your argument by simply you simply dismissing it. Okay, it's not evidence for anything. Okay, you're just simply dismissing the evidence. Okay,
you denying reality is not evidence. Yes, I understand that.
I'm not denying reality. You are.
Yes, you definitely are.
Yeah, because I'm saying that without Islam, there won't be a civilization as we know it today. Okay.
Yeah. Yes, there would. It's just wrong. Like, you don't need Islam for pretty much anything. All they do is name stuff.
I guess there's just we just have to agree to disagree then, right?
Okay. Yeah, reality disagrees with you. That's true.
Yeah, I mean, okay. So maybe my last point here. Let me see now. Depression. Yeah, the number of suicides. So how would you explain that? How would you justify atheism being a good way or a good philosophy to life when you see the number of suicides from the atheist side even more than that of theists? Okay, and when I say theists, I don't mean just Muslims. I mean also Christians, Buddhists, etc. It seems to me that being an atheist is much is much more, makes you more prone to depression and suicide. It doesn't give you a great life, okay, compared to being a theist, or being a Muslim for that matter. Yeah. In fact, in that statistic, Muslims have the lowest number of suicides, okay, per 100,000
and the highest
people.
Number of beheadings and arm cutting off and capital punishment and marital rape and suicide bombings.
No, that's not.
And
no,
crime,
that's not correct.
and homelessness and malnourishment.
No.
So yeah, I'm going to say that people who live longer. I can give you I have it here. Where is it? Live debates. Kenny Boomer,
you can show it here.
Islam.
Yeah.
If you are curious which states and countries have the best of all the states, you can check the Pew Forum Religious Landscape Survey. And then you can go ahead and check how the various states are faring in terms of societal well-being. The correlation is clear and strong. The more secular tend to fare better than the more religious on a vast host of measures, including homicide, violent crime, poverty, obesity, diabetes rates, child abuse rates, education attainment level, income levels, unemployment rates, rate of sexual transmitted diseases and teen pregnancy, etc. You name it, on nearly every sociological measure of well-being, you are most likely to find the more secular states with the lowest levels of faith in God and the lowest levels of church attendance faring the best, and the most religious to have the highest levels in faith in God, with the faring worst in each of these criteria. Yes, your religious stuff is worse in every one of these.
Do you have a source for that?
Not done yet. So I grant that yes, there is a higher suicide rate in areas that have significantly better well-being, because people who are depressed live longer, so they are able to kill themselves. Whereas in the countries like Islam, they are put in prison, usually killed and tortured, and so they don't have the opportunity to kill themselves because they don't live long enough. So yes, secular societies are better in like literally every way. The number of suicides is just indicative of that. That's not actually, it doesn't actually make Islamic societies better. It actually makes it worse.
No, I don't think you get it, because I'm not from the Middle East. I'm not from Pakistan. I'm not from India. I'm from Malaysia.
I didn't say Middle East. I said world.
Yeah. I mean, there are problems in the Muslim world. I'll grant that, but I don't think
this is also true in America. So if you compare states in America, the same thing is true.
Yeah, but I'm talking about atheism, atheists in general. I'm not talking about specific regions, you see. So you're just saying that in the Muslim world, there's a number
in America do better in every category than the religious in America. The atheists in the world do better than the religious as anywhere.
I disagree,
in the world.
because that's not what the statistics say. That's not what the
I literally just read them to you from the Pew survey data. I literally just read it from the Pew survey data.
What year was it from?
What? Every year. It's the same data every year. They get the same result. It's the continuous. It's not just like one magic year. Somehow atheists are doing better this one magic year. It's every year.
Then how do you justify the data that I sent that I showed? I mean, I can't show it, unfortunately, but that's what the data.
There are more suicides?
Yeah. Yes, there are more suicides in 80s from 80s.
Yes, there are more suicides. That doesn't make the society better.
I mean, doesn't that mean that atheists have a problem with mental depression?
No, it means that more of them are surviving and giving the opportunity to hate life and not being killed. So no, it does not mean that.
Why would it not mean that? To me, the data shows that
I literally just said that. So when people survive for longer, there are more people who have mental health conditions that grow to the point where it becomes damaging to them, to the point where they commit suicide. In societies where you starve to death and you are put in prison and you are killed, those people don't grow because they're killed. So in your society, they're murdered. In our society, the people who have mental health conditions can get to the point where they kill themselves, but that's indicative that our society is better than yours, because in yours, they're murdered. In ours, they live long enough.
No, we're not. We don't murder atheists. We don't murder atheists.
What?
That's you presuming.
That's literally a thing in every Muslim country.
You're poisoning the well. No, not every Muslim country. There are atheists in Malaysia. We don't kill them. We don't kill atheists
in Muslim countries.
I think you're watching too much propaganda.
Atheists and religious skeptics can be executed in at least 13 nations. Afghanistan. Stop me when any of these are not Muslim societies. Just tell me which one is not a Muslim society. Afghanistan, Iran, Malaysia, Pakistan, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Somalia, Libya,
not. I would disagree with that.
Yemen. Which one?
I would strongly disagree with that being Malaysia. Why would you include Malaysia in this? I don't believe this. I mean, this is totally wrong, because I
literally just Googled it. Discrimination against atheists.
That's why you're asking Sheikh Google. You're asking Sheikh Google to tell me.
Yes, because Google shows the evidence of people getting their heads cut off.
But I'm living in the Muslim world. Okay, you are living in the other side of the world.
You're in Malaysia. Malaysia is one of the places.
Happening. Yeah, exactly, which is wrong.
Wait.
You listed Malaysia, which is wrong.
Stop interrupting. Atheists and religious skeptics can be executed in at least 13 nations.
No, they can't.
Alphabetically. No, Afghanistan, Iran, Malaysia. It's the third one on the list.
No, they can't. They can't.
Rather than just like yes it is, no it can't, or no it doesn't. We got to move on to another one unless there's new info that's going to be brought forward, because otherwise it's starting to repeat itself.
I'm running out of points, so I think I'll just give TJump his answers. His points if he has any. So I'll just stop here. Yes, yeah. Mhm.
Any points that you'd like to run through, Tom? Any questions before we go to the Q&A?
Nope.
You got it. We are going to jump into the Q&A, folks. Want to say thanks so much for your questions. You got a good amount so far, but we might have enough time to get through more if you submit them. And we're going to jump into it right now. Thanks so much, and want to remind you our guests are linked in the description. If you want to hear more, you certainly can by clicking on those links. And that includes at the podcast. We put our guest links in the podcast description box as well. In case you didn't know, we do have a podcast. And you can find Modern Day Debate, the podcast, on all podcast apps out there. This one coming in from Constellation Pegasus says, why does the apologist believe in Allah since he didn't exist before or during the first temple period? Isn't Allah late in human history?
You want me to answer this?
I think it's for you. Yep.
All right. Okay. So basically, there is this misconception that Allah is the name of a pagan god, etc. This is not true. Okay. Allah has existed right from the beginning of time itself. Allah means God in Arabic. Okay. So the equivalent name for Allah in the Hebrew would be Elohim. Okay. So Elohim is the name for God in Hebrew, right? So if you are saying that Allah didn't exist before the first temple, then what about Elohim? Because basically a Muslim believes in Elohim, the God of Abraham. Okay. We believe in Elohim. We believe in God. We believe in Al-Shaddai, whatever it is you call him by, whatever names, to him belong the most beautiful of names. Okay. So to say that God doesn't, to imply as though the name Allah is something alien or something distinct from Elohim or from the God of Abraham is totally wrong, linguistically and historically. Okay, that's my answer.
You got it, and thank you very much for this question coming in from Constellation Pegasus Strikes Again. Says, where was the Quran at when the Hebrew Bible was being written? I think that's for you again, Muslim apologist. Most of these are going to be for you, by the way.
Until much later in the 6th century, right? So it was preserved in the book. We Muslims believe that the Quran was, or the text, the divine text was preserved in the heavens called the Lauh Mahfuz. Okay, so when the time came for it to be revealed on earth, it came down in the 6th century to the Prophet Muhammad. Yeah.
You got it. This one coming in from Mark Reed. Thanks for tuning in all the way from Australia. Mark says, for Muslim apologists, since you can be raised an atheist and still have morals, doesn't that show that morals or moral values come from society and culture rather than religion?
Well, in order to be raised, you need to be raised by your parents or your father figure or your mother figure or whoever is it, or grandmother or your grandfather, etc. So it could be that your grandparents were religious, or maybe they had some values that they brought over from their former religions, if they are atheists or etc. So regardless, you are brought up in the way that your parents or your guardians have brought you up in. As the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, okay, in the hadith, he said that each child is born pure as a white cloth, okay, and this child is raised according to how his parents shaped them, whether he becomes a Jew or a Christian or a Majus or a Zoroastrian. He's raised in the religion that his guardians or his parents brought him in. Okay, so basically, this means that whatever values that you carry forth, even though you call yourself atheist, it came from your parents. Okay, regardless. Okay,
you got it. This one coming from, do appreciate it, Mac the Human says, potato is the meaning of life. Checkmate. And Grimlock, thanks very much, says, let's see, want to remind you folks, we are looking for more serious questions. We really do want to increase the quality of the podcast in terms of the Q&A rather than trolling. Happy Camper, thanks for your question. Let's see, XXWLZXX, thanks for your question, says, this is a great lesson. Yep, we are definitely looking for like questions rather than personal attacks, folks. I know that, so it's like personal attacks really don't make it look like you can have the intellectual high ground when you're just doing personal attacks on people. I want you to attack the arguments. Ozzy and Talk says, quick 200-year history lesson. I think this is for you Muslim apologists. They said, life expectancy has doubled globally and population is 20 times greater than it was. And this is thanks to atheists. So Muslim apologists, what do you think of them apples?
Are you trying to deny the existence of Muslim doctors in the world today? There are Muslim doctors, there are Muslim specialists, there are Muslim everywhere. There are even Christian, Christian doctors. There are Buddhist doctors. I mean, I would say that this is a collective effort of the human race, not just specifically to one group of people. So, if the population growth and healthcare improvement has done a lot of good, then yes, all kudos to them. But I don't think this is specifically because of atheists, or any particular group of people,
This one coming in from Don Fulman, thanks so much, says, Muslim apologist, can you tell me one great Muslim scientist's name?
Or Al-Khawarizmi, Ibn Rushd, Ibn Rushd. Ibn Rushd, Avicenna, and Al-Khawarizmi. I give you 3 names.
You got this one coming in from XXWLZXX says, according to the World Health Organization, 77% of global suicides happen in the third world. The third world is significantly more religious than the first world. Think that's
Sorry, is that question for me?
Yep.
Okay, can you repeat the question? I didn't quite get it. Sorry.
You bet. Let me just load this up 2 seconds. This one coming in from same person, XXWLZ, says, according to the World Health Organization, 77% of global suicides happen in the third world. The third world is significantly more religious than the first world.
I think I will need to see the data. It could be from atheists, for all you know, or from other, from other belief systems that do not have a god. Because you see, Buddhism is actually some sort of atheistic as well, because they don't believe in a deity in a way. So it's hard for me to comment because I don't have the data. I mean, this is just general, right? So it's not broken down into religions or belief systems. You see, so.
This one coming in from The Noon says, would the Muslim concede that the Greeks' contribution to subjects like science and philosophy are proof of their theology? Or does this only apply to Islamic achievements?
Well, the Greeks have done their work, true, but it is Muslims who took that knowledge and made it great, and formed the basis of the modern world today. Because without Muslims bridging that gap, we wouldn't have even a computer. Yeah.
You got it, and thank you very much for this question. MB Khan says, quick question to Muslim apologist. Did Prophet Muhammad split the moon in half?
That's my answer, yes.
Okay, gotcha.
Yes.
I didn't hear you. Mike Q922 says, why does the Quran claim the Bible is previous scripture? And for the Muslims to read it, then though it claims that it's corrupted?
We Muslims don't believe that the Bible is revealed from God. Okay, we believe only in the Torah, the Injil, the Gospel, and the Gospel, singular Gospel, and the Zabur, the Psalms. Okay. What you have in the Bible is a combination of various writings which you claim to be the Torah, the Psalms, the Injil. You have 4 Injils, okay, 4 Gospels, okay, 4 writings claiming to be Gospels. You have the epistles of Paul. You have Revelations, etc. So So these writings have been mixed up so much so that we Muslims, or the Quran says that these writings have now been corrupted, and it is not the Torah, it is not as we understand it, as we Muslims understand it, or even the Zabur or the Injil. Okay, these are 3 separate books, not one book called the Bible. Yeah. So that's my answer. Coming
in from Ahan says, the Muslim apologist says you would be a Muslim, or you would not be a Muslim, you'd be an atheist if you were born in an atheist country, or a Christian if you were born in a Christian country. I think that they're trying to imply that this should undermine your confidence in your belief.
Maybe I would have been, who knows, but we can't say because I was born as a Muslim, of course. But if God has wills it, I would have discovered Islam eventually. Okay, if God doesn't will it, then I would be a disbeliever forever. It's actually your personal choice whether you want to look for the truth or not. Okay, so so for everyone, everyone is given the
I think your connection might be it's hard. I don't know if you can hear me. We'll give you a minute just to see if the connection comes back. In the meantime, do want to remind you folks, as always, our guests are linked in the description. Also, as you can see at the bottom right of your screen, we're absolutely thrilled for this juicy, epic, controversial debate tomorrow morning. Should ex-Muslims be punished? That's going to be tomorrow with Apostate Prophet and Khalid, who's a newcomer. Can you hear me now?
yes, loud and clear, loud and clear.
You got it. We weren't able to hear your last response. Or
Yeah, that was my answer. Yeah.
just
you
to
didn't
be
hear
sure
me
that
again.
we heard all of it, I want to give you a chance if you want to say it again. I didn't hear the last maybe half of it. I'm not sure how much you had left.
Yeah, I was just saying that everyone is given a chance to seek the truth, and everyone is given equal opportunity to know God. Yeah.
Gotcha. This one coming in from, do appreciate your question, from MB says, what evidence is there for the moon being split?
Okay, so I believe that there was a Indian king during those times who actually saw the moon split, and he became a Muslim after that. That was recorded in the history books. Okay, so these are the evidences. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't have the references with me, but this essentially part of it. Yeah.
You got it. This one coming in from Mike Q922 says, who were the thousands of prophets sent all over the world according to Muslim belief? Where is the evidence?
Hadith where the prophet said that thousands of prophets and messengers were sent throughout the world. Okay, so we don't, but they are not named. Okay, we only have 25 names in the Quran, so it's not easy to I can't just simply say just because this philosopher is great, therefore he might be a prophet, or that philosopher. No, there are arguments that the Buddha might be a prophet, or Confucius might have been a prophet, etc., or even Socrates might have been a prophet, but we can't say for sure. Okay, that these are not named. These people are not named, so we don't know. Yeah. Okay. So the answer is we don't know, but the Quran, or sorry, the prophet himself mentions this, right?
You got it. This one coming in from Marty Mad Scientist. I think they mean for atheists in general. I'm not sure they say, TJump, what's a good question to ask you that has not been asked you before?
I have no idea.
Maybe they mean like, what's a tough question for atheists?
What's a tough question for atheists?
That's my best guess of what they mean by that. Unless they mean it like, what's a personal question you've never been asked?
Tough question for atheists. I guess a tough question for atheists would be something like most human nature, because we're of our personal biases, we like to have answers to things. And so many theists like to claim, well, you can't answer this, or you don't know this. And atheists honestly say, yes, we don't know the answer to that. And then the theist thinks that's evidence for their position because they like to make stuff up. And so I think the hardest question for atheists is how do you honestly represent the evidence and not play into human fallacious biases? And that's a tough one for atheists to answer.
This one coming in from Chris Gammon says, TJump, his argument sounded like, quote, let's see, atheists don't have an explanation for the universe or life, unquote, as a negative for atheism and a positive for Islam. Could you respond to that?
Yes, that's literally the thing I just said. So yeah, that's called an argument from ignorance. It's you don't know the answer. I've made up an answer, therefore my made up answer is better than you admitting you don't know. It's a common fallacy in human reasoning that humans pre the scientific era used to thought was valid reasoning. They thought that, well, because you couldn't come up with an answer and they could come up with an answer in their imaginary minds, that must mean that their imaginary minds must be better than your inability to come up with an answer, when in reality the correct scientific and logical way to approach it is to wait for actual empirical novel testable predictions to confirm one hypothesis. And until you have evidence and you would follow the evidence wherever it leads. You would admit you don't know. That is the rational, better intellectual position to hold in all cases.
This question coming in from S. Aston says, please ask Muslim apologist to describe how he would fail, then correct a science experiment to measure a God. I don't know what they mean when they say how you would fail.
I don't believe it's simple. Okay, anything that can be seen or it's not God. Okay, if I can see something, that's not God, because God cannot be perceived by the human mind. He's not measured by science. He cannot be measured by human terms. Okay, so for me, that question is illogical, because if God can be measured by scientific tools, then it is not God. It's that simple.
You got it. And let's see here. Just put a poll on the old live chat, and then F censorship says it's a shame they don't repeat questions to the debaters posted in the live chat unless you give them money. That actually, the last two were actually unpaid. They're just people tagged me in the live chat. So you probably, rather than making up lies, you should probably pay attention. But thanks for this. Next question coming in from Karag Nightwolf says, why does the Muslim assume that the highest suicide rate of atheism has anything to do with atheism? Is that not post hoc ergo proctor hoc? In other words, I think what they're getting at, isn't this correlation doesn't equal causation kind of mistake?
But that is what the graph says, and I have a description. I mean, I wish I could share the data here, but the thing is, this graphic that I have here actually commented that it has something to do with atheism, because it's from a research where the scientists were studying whether atheism has any religion or non-religion has any correlation with mental health, depression. Okay, so this was the result of the study. So yes, definitely atheism has some connection to this, based on the results of this experiment, of this study. Okay,
this one coming in from Exit Music says, does Muslim apologist believe that his ancestors were forced to abandon their own religion for Islam by the sword in the past?
No, I believe, because you see, my ancestors were from Java Island, okay, in Indonesia today. So how Islam was spread to this region in the Southeast Asian region was through Muslim traders. Okay, Muslim traders from the East, from the Middle East, from China, from India. So they came here and they did missionary work, and I'm pretty sure my ancestors were fascinated by their da'wah, by their preaching, and they were convinced of the truth of Islam, and because of that they reverted to Islam. So that is essentially what happened here in this part of the world. Islam did not spread, did not escape. There were no Islamic armies that came to this part of the world, and yet majority of the people here in this region, okay, are Muslim.
You got it. And any other questions out there? I think that's it. I think we got to all of them. We did have one last one. I'm going to humor you just because it's the very last one, even though, like I said, we're wanting more serious questions, but nonetheless. Michael McCaffrey, thanks, says, James, how much money to do your opening on Helium? We're no amount. And want to say thank you, folks, for your questions. Thank you very much, most of all, to our guests, TJump and Muslim Apologist. I am thankful that we had this debate tonight. I hope you guys have a great rest of your night out there. I'm going to be back in just a moment with a post-credit scene letting you know about upcoming debates. And want to say one last thank you to TJump as well as the Muslim Apologist.
You're welcome. Yeah.
Thanks.
Will be one last one. Let's see. Thanks. Marty Mad Scientist says, Dalla, pay it forward for another unpaid chat question. I think actually, like, no joke, as far as I had seen, scrolling up as far as I could, I think we got to all of the unpaid chat questions as well. I'll double check, but yeah, scrolling up to the top, I think we got to all the questions tonight, including just the ones tagging me in the chat that were not super chat. So thanks for that. Appreciate your support. But do want to say thanks, folks. I'm going to be back in just a moment. And with that, we're very excited for this other juicy debate tomorrow night with Destiny versus Gavin McGinnis. It is going to be a juicy one, so stick around. I'll tell you about that in just a moment.
Yeah. I'm that guy. Get out of here.
Ladies and gentlemen, absolutely thrilled to have you here. I want to say thanks so much for all of your support. We are absolutely pumped about the future. In particular, tomorrow night, my dear friends, this is going to be amazing. You do not want to miss this. Destiny and Gavin McGinnis, as you can see at the bottom right corner of your screen, it is going to be amazing. They're debating whether or not Joe Rogan's debate was, or I should say his podcast, does more harm than good. You don't want to miss that one, and in particular, it has to do with the context of COVID. You guys definitely will want to tune into that one, and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, as we are very excited for that one. Citizen, good to see you there in the old live chat, and do want to remind you, if you want to submit a question, as tonight we did, it doesn't happen every night. Sometimes we don't get to it because we have just so many questions, where some nights we do get to read the unpaid, you could just say the normal chat questions. And so we did actually get to do them tonight, but I just noticed some of the questions in chat, you have to tag me though. So if you tag me, if you put at Modern Day Debate, that makes it easier for me to see them, because it's already, I'm trying to pay attention to a lot. And so if you don't tag me, it's like, come on, like meet me halfway. So we want to say, Jim Johnson, thanks so much, says, I had a question. It is true, Jim. I got to let you know, and I'm willing to give you it next time. What we can do is I'll usher your question for whatever next debate it is to the front of the list. I did notice that your question came in, but it said that you erased it. So here's what I had on my side, is that I think it said, let's see here. Let me find it. I'll get back to you. But I know that I did see it said something like withdrawn or restricted, or it said something that, I don't know if you put a word in it that YouTube didn't like, or if it was something that you deleted. But anyway, happy to ask your question first time, first one in line, next debate. But want to say thanks everybody for being with us. And yeah, I am surprised though. It is kind of strange that, so like I see this gross patate in the chat says everything has a price, LOL. Again, I did read the non-super chat questions. So like you guys, I could get it if it was a night in which we didn't get to those chat questions. But when we actually read the live chat questions that were not super chats, I don't see why you're lying and saying that we didn't read those. So I do want to say, like, folks, like, for real, I don't know why you're like being so dishonest, but we do want to say thank you so much for hanging out with us in the old chat. Good to see you, Nano, as well as my name, last name. Thanks for coming by, as well as Sideshow Nav. Good to see you. Says tomorrow's going to be epic in all caps, and you're right about that. SJS XF, thanks for coming by. Says James, turn to Jesse Lee Peterson. Amazing. Good to see you there, friend. And MB Khan, glad you were with us. Martin Age, glad you were here. XM Music, glad to have you with us. KCA Randy and Anthony Rogers, glad that you were with us. And MB Khan, good to see you. My dear friends, we are excited about the future. A lot of juicy upcoming debates coming up. And let's see here. Jens Van Brockhoven, glad to see you. Says, is this tomorrow? Yeah, we have 2 huge debates tomorrow, for real. The debate, this one that you're seeing on screen in the bottom right of your screen, is going to be at night. And then we're absolutely pumped that not only do we have that one, but tomorrow morning we have this juicy debate. Apostate Prophet and newcomer Khalid are going to be debating whether or not ex-Muslims should be punished. So that's going to be one you don't want to miss as well. Want to say Mike Keenan, thanks for coming by, as well as S. Aston said, thanks for reading my question. Appreciate it. Even, let's see, my pleasure. And then my name, last name, good to see you. And Rembrandt972, glad to have you with us. A long-time viewer, right? I think I remember seeing you here for a long time. And Mesa Kamir, thanks for coming by. Mao Demighty, thanks for coming by. Says, question for tomorrow's debate. Why is Destiny's, let's see, you'd have to ask Destiny about his beard. Mbe Khan, good to see you. Thanks for your question. Hey, that's a possibility. That might work with me. And then thanks for your question. Marty Mad Scientist says, all good with me. I did not intend controversy. Was a sincere gesture to many haters leaping to conclusions. Thanks, I appreciate that. No worries. I didn't take anything. I didn't take any offense to it. But yeah, I said, like, I see somebody right now in chat. K is the person named K, you aren't a killer, says they read the paid comments. Yeah, we do read those, but tonight we also, as mentioned, a lot of nights we do have time and we actually read the regular chat questions as well that are not paid. So, and then the Christian Metalhead says, I've seen James take many unpaid questions, and yeah, we did take a number of them tonight. So again, folks, I do recommend, like, don't lie. It doesn't make your case look better. It just makes it look, nobody believes you. You're destroying your own credibility. So on other nights, though, it's true. We don't always get to the unpaid normal chat questions. we've got a lot of questions that come in, and we do have to let the debaters by, because that's one thing I am amazed by is sometimes people are like, James, like, you have to read my question, and it's like, I'm not your slave. Like, no, I don't. Like, if the debate, and that's the thing too, is like, if the debaters have to go, like, if we promise them that we'll get them out by a certain time because they've got busy schedules, like, we're not obligated to read every question. And so we do prioritize the super chats because we do appreciate the support of the channel. But for the people that are like, well, I sent in a normal chat question and you didn't read mine, and it's like, and they're angry, and I'm like, we try our best, but we don't get to it every night. And the fact that you think you're entitled to have it read makes it look like you think that I'm your slave. Like, we do our best. But want to say thanks everybody for your support, and we do like those. Don't get me wrong, we do appreciate the unpaid questions, as we do need questions for the Q&A. So it really does help when you actually do put in questions, whether it be a super chat or not. We really do appreciate that support, as you guys really do help make this channel awesome. And that's one way you do, is just by putting in questions. So we do appreciate that, and want to say thanks for coming by. Richard Americi, am I saying it right? Let me know, Richard. Glad you were with us. Be truthful. Thanks for being with us. Says, we know you do better. Thanks for your kind words. Be truthful. I appreciate that. And let's see here. Proper FPV, we are glad you were with us. Happy Camper, thanks for coming by. Says, so excited for tomorrow's debate. And then John Howe said, morning debate. Nice. I agree. I'm excited for that one tomorrow as well. And let's see. Thanks for your super chat question. Jay Schneider says, new vid, TJump's adventure featuring Darth Dawkins and Godless Girl coming Sunday with a James cameo. I didn't know I was in it. That sounds juicy. Crazy fun. My TJump fan scheduled to premiere. That sounds juicy. I'm excited that Darth Dawkins. A lot of you guys didn't know, Darth Dawkins is actually my dad. I made that up. Not really. But Darth Dawkins won't come back on. We wish he would, but he won't. But let's see. Thanks, Rembrandt972 says, yeah, I've been watching Modern Day Debate for a while. Oh, well, that's cool. I was like, I know I've seen your name around here for years. Chess119, thanks for coming by. We appreciate you being with us. And then, yeah, if it is, it's true. Like, if it's something to insult the guest, because they said, imagine if you paid and you did not have your question read, or quote unquote question, it's true. Like, we're not gonna, if you want to pay us to insult the guests, like, that's not what we're here for. We're not here to insult the guests, and so we're not gonna read those types of super chats. But want to say, Brother Ben, thanks for coming by. So don't send them, is what I'm saying. Is like, if it's a sincere question, send it. That's great. But I do like some people I don't understand. Like, they just don't seem to get it. They're like, I want to attack the person, and I'm like, attack the arguments, not the person. So thanks for coming by, Gene Brass. Good to see you, as well as Jim Johnson. Thanks for coming by. He says, how do I sign up for a debate? If you email me at Modern Day Debate, it's a possibility we can get you in. But I got to tell you, it is not easy. So in other words, we've got so many requests right now. It's a challenge for me to get them all in, for real. And then the biggest thing is, we have sometimes people who come in and they're like, hey, we've already got our debate set up. We had a spat on Twitter. Will you host us? And I'm like, yeah, like, you know, they've already set it up for us. So it's like, okay, sure. And so that makes it easier on me. And then the other thing too is, like, sometimes it's like people will, so for example, Brenton Langle went and he got Dr. David D. Friedman to come on for a debate, which is a huge help to us. And so for me, I was like, yeah, like, we'll prioritize that, because getting David D. Friedman, who's a very famous, popular economist, we're like, wow, of course, that's a huge honor for us to host him. And so I got to tell you, if you're, that is one thing that we really appreciate, and we usher those to the front of the line too, because it helps, is that if you happen to find somebody who's a big name out there that's willing to debate you, that really does help a lot as well. So we kind of prioritize those, because those people put the work in for us. Like, they've helped us, and that helps us grow Modern Day Debate. So want to say thank you guys for being with us. Let's see. We got a lot of haters in chat. Not a lot. I'd say it's a small percent as a whole, but there's some people in chat tonight. I like this one. I like Ricky DePere. They don't give me any like examples. They just claim it. It says, pathetic, James. Address the facts and stop hiding behind your failed attempt at neutrality. I like that. You've got a little bit of fight in you. But yes, we are excited. If you're a hater, if you're a hate watcher, you just love to hate watch, you get off to that. Hey, we're glad you're here too, because that helps us in the algorithm. No joke. Want to say thank you guys so much for being with us. We are absolutely excited, my dear friends. And I'm serious, though. If you are here watching, it really does help. Because even if you're just watching, even if you don't hit like, although I got to tell you, we're so close to 200 likes. We could get to 180. We're at 173 already. If you haven't yet, hit that like button. We're so close to 180. And I've got to tell you, though, is that even if you don't hit the like button, even if you're just like, yeah, I just hang out here, that does help us. So we want to say thanks for hate watching. Thanks for watching if you enjoy the channel. Because YouTube, actually, the way the algorithm works is they look at what you're watching, or what I watch, or what anybody watches, and they say, look at what this person is watching, and let's look at other channels out there that watch similar stuff that this person is watching, and we'll recommend it to them as well, because odds are good, since they seem to have a lot of the same interests, that they'll like this Modern Day Debate channel as well. So it does actually, for real, it helps us in the algorithm just when you happen to hang out here. And then Gene Brass says, thanks for the shout out, James. My pleasure, Gene. Thank you. Caleb RM, thanks for your kind words, says, love what you do. Thank you, Caleb. And seriously, it means a lot. And Chris Gammon says, the real way to get on the channel is to bribe James with tons of soy. That's true. Nobody likes soy more than me. My dear friends, I've got to tell you, I have so much soy every day, you wouldn't even believe it. But I want to say thanks for your question. This one coming in from, where was it? The Christian Metalhead says, Modern Day Debate, got to drop off, but God bless you, man. Really happy to see how much the channel is growing. Thanks for your support. Seriously, that means a lot. I appreciate your positivity. It really does mean a lot. But yeah, I want to say thank you so much for all of your support. Durag McKinney, thanks for your support as well. And thanks CP, who says, I love watch and hate watch at the same time. Thank you, CP. We appreciate that. But yeah, seriously, let's see. Thanks, Chess119 says, I'm not a hater. I mean, I am, but I respect you, Mr. Host. I hope you understand. Thanks for that support. I appreciate it. And like I said, we don't try to like push, sometimes when we see critics in the chat, we don't want to ban them. Like we're pretty reluctant to ban people because we know that we like having people, even if they're hate watching, we like that they're here because it helps us in the algorithm. And so if you are here and you're trying to like discourage us, like, please do stick around. Like, we're going to try to, keep you around as long as we can because it helps us. F Censorship, thanks for coming by, says, perhaps I was wrong in this specific debate, but I've seen it before. Yeah, well, that's the thing. I did, it says, and to call me a liar isn't cool, man. Well, you were lying because tonight we did actually read them, and you just stated as a general statement that we don't read those. So, you really should consider about like what you're actually saying before you say it. And then says, explaining it to tag you for a question is good, but calling a liar isn't. Hey, yeah, I'm telling you, you were lying. That's just, if you don't want to own it, that's okay. But I mean, if you have some humility and you just kind of own it and say, okay, and I won't lie again, then, it's no problem. But if you're just like, no, I'm not going to own it. It's like, we have had tons of questions over many debates where we read questions that were not super chats. And so that's the thing, though, is in those times where we don't get to read them, I would say I still honestly don't think that people have a complaint because it's like, hey, the debaters aren't morally obligated to be your slaves. And likewise, I'm not morally obligated to be your slave and stick around and answer every single question that comes in. Like, we have our own lives too that we have to get to. And so it's like, if the debaters, like we promised them, we'll get them out of here in 2 hours, then we're going to get them out of here in 2 hours. And so if people are mad, they're like, you didn't answer my question. It's like, we're not morally obligated. And the fact that you think that you're entitled to that, it just shows you're an entitled person. And you just, frankly, it just makes you kind of look like you're kind of, you think that we're your slave or something. You look a little self-centered. So it's like, we try to do our best, but I am going to put those people in their place. Likewise, I saw people, like one time somebody was like complaining at Kaz, who's one of our awesome guest mods. And they're like, oh, I didn't read my question. And it's like, listen, Kaz is not your slave. Like, Kaz has got things, he's got a family, he's a busy guy. And so it's like, he tries his best, like he tries to read the unpaid ones as well. But the fact that some people like actually get mad and they think they're entitled to our time is like, we do our best. And if you think if you're that entitled, like, and especially if you're going to lie and you're going to say that we don't read those, that we don't read unpaid ones, it's like, we oftentimes do. So let's see. Gleep Glorp says, Modern Day Debate are an unverified creator. It says you are an unverified creator. I can't tip you with BAT tokens. Look into Brave Browser. Oh, I'll check into that. Thanks for letting me know about that. Seriously, Brave Browser. Okay, I'm going to put it in here right now. But yeah, thank you guys. Seriously, we do appreciate the guests. And that's the thing too, is like the guests are coming on for exposure. Like they're just trying to get their name out there and stuff like that. So, or because they just love to debate. Some people don't even have a channel and they love to come on and debate. So we really do appreciate them. Delta November says, James, when are you getting Sally Dawa on the show? I don't know who she is, but I'm open to it. And then thanks for your kind words, Jim Johnson, for saying modern day debate has a ring to it. I appreciate that. And then Wildlife, good to see you. Glad you are with us. And Mike Keenan says, do you support the honkening? Is the honkening the truckers you mean in Canada? I honestly don't know. Like, I'm not just saying this to like duck the question. I don't know exactly what it is. I think it's, do I understand right that they're driving to Toronto to protest? They say that they don't want to get the vaccine. Is that it? I honestly don't know. I'm asking. I'm not taking a side. Mike Keenan, let's see. Chess119 says, James, are you the final boss of the debate channel? What topic would you debate? That's funny. I honestly think I'm probably just an average debater. Statistically, that's what we should all estimate usually about ourselves. Is you could say it's the maximum likelihood estimator in statistics is the average. I love to debate, and I used to debate. Working on my PhD right now, I don't want to debate because it just puts me in a potentially controversial spot where I've already had one professor try to she reported the channel to the chair of our department. I don't know why, because I'm the moderator. I'm not even debating. But nonetheless, I guess it's that controversial to where even being the moderator, some people have a problem with it. Or at least that one. I don't know if there's anybody else besides her. But let's see. Brian Katarin, good to see you. And Brooke Sparrow, thanks for all of your support. And thanks for doing a great job moderating in the old Twitch chat. JSK, thanks for coming by. Thanks for your kind words. I really do appreciate that. That means a lot. And Ahmed, we are glad you were here. Thanks for dropping by, Ahmed. And then let's see. Appy Frenzy, thanks for coming by. But yeah, it's like, I just appreciate you guys. So thank you guys. I think that, yeah, it's always a fun time. Whether you be atheist, whether you be Christian, whether you be Muslim, you name it. We are glad you are here. We really do hope you feel welcome. And Mike Keenan says, yes, I really don't know about it. In terms of my personal opinion, I think the vaccine is a good idea. It sounds like it's reduces your chances of having a serious reaction, like having to go to the hospital, and that sounds pretty good. In terms of whether or not, I don't know what the rules are in Canada, so I want to be careful about what I say. I'm not super big on like saying that truckers would have to, like if the government is saying it, I'm not super like, especially if truckers are driving around like alone. I know that they interact, oftentimes during their stops, they'll interact with people, but I personally don't feel compelled. I don't really, you could say that government mandates don't appeal to me. I think it's something that people, hopefully we can persuade them and without being a government mandate. Jim Johnson says, modern day debate, they are going to Ottawa to fight vaccine forces mandates. Gotcha, good to know. And then a Red Ape says, I'd like to be a debater, but I'm a nobody and don't know who to reach out to. If you go to YouTube's YouTube channels and you click on there, first you look at the channel and then you click on the tabs, on the top of the YouTube profile. You click on the About tab. It will show you, you can usually click on a button that will let you get their email. Now, not every YouTuber has it showing, but a lot of them do. And so I've got to let you know, like, that's one way to get a hold of people. And so it's like, it's hard for me to like set up debates right now. Cause seriously, I can't keep up with my emails. It's hard to find someone too. Cause like some people are like, well, you should just find someone else to do it. And it's like, it's hard to find people. Like we had a person who, well, I hope he's okay. Cause long story short, yeah, it's hard to find. It's a lot. There's a lot to do. So we're doing our best. But thanks for your support. Brooke Sparrow says, let's get to 200 likes. We're at 192 likes already. You guys, we can totally get another 8 likes, which will get us to 200 likes for this live stream. Do want to say your support really does mean a lot, as that helps us in terms of our discoverability. Seriously, the YouTube algorithm does give a little bit of a boost to us in terms of recommending our videos to more people if people are liking that like button. And so that really does help us. And we have no shame about it. we want to grow. Like, we'll be honest, like we want to grow in terms of our subscribers. We want to grow in terms of our video views. And the reason is we think that we're providing something valuable to YouTube. It's a neutral platform. We want everybody to have their fair shot at making their case on a level playing field. We want everybody to be treated fairly, whether they be Muslim, atheist, Christian, politically left, politically right, black, white, gay, straight, you name it. We really do want everybody to get a fair shot. That's important to us. So that if you believe in that value with us, if you hold that value as dearly as us, namely that you say, hey, I like that. I want everybody to get their fair shot, and this channel is doing their best to do that. Hey, hit that like button, because that does help us as we pursue that vision and as we continue to grow on YouTube. And our impact, we are just thrilled, you guys. Thank you guys for helping us get where we've gotten. But hey, our story is just beginning. We are excited. Don't get me wrong. I'm thankful that we have 64,000. And by the way, just a month ago, we hit 60,000. So we have hit, in the last month, we had a big month because of the conference. We had 4,000 new people come to the channel in the last month. So thank you guys for sharing videos, stuff like that on Twitter, retweeting, whatever it is, sharing it on Facebook. That helps us. And I got to tell you, you guys, seriously, thank you guys, because you have made this possible. You guys have supported this channel in so many ways. We've already blown past that goal of 200 likes. We've got 207. With just another 3 likes, we can get to 210. So we want to say thank you guys for your support. And then Mao Demighty says, where is the pool I can buy into for how long it takes YouTube to ban this channel? I don't know. I think that we're going to be around for a while. And the reason is we actually do try to follow the, you could say, the terms of service. And we have gotten a strike before. It was technically a strike warning. We appealed it and we won. So we are pretty careful. And I do think that, you know, like, and a lot of people win appeals. It's not that hard. But want to say thanks. Doc Twat says, gosh, I don't know what that name means, but says James is doing a great job. I appreciate that, Doc. Seriously. We're 1 like away from 210. So do want to encourage you, if you believe in the vision with us, if you're excited with us, and our story is just beginning, my dear friends, because we're determined. We are absolutely committed. We are on a determined march to, by the end of the year, we want to make it to 100,000 subscribers. We believe we can totally do that. We are absolutely pumped for that. And I've got to tell you guys, the reason is not because we're like, oh, we're all about numbers. It's more that we're about impact. We want to make a difference on YouTube. We want everybody to say, hey, you know what? If I'm a Muslim, or if I'm an atheist, or if I'm a Christian, is there a channel where I can go to and I can actually make my case, and I won't have a moderator try to jump in to debate me, you know, and take sides, or I won't have the channel put out a video after the debate that says, oh man, that debater was so stupid, or their arguments were so bad. We don't do any of that. We want it to be as fair as possible. And so if you're like, hey, that sounds like a cool thing to me. We like this channel. We like that it's around. And we don't have videos that put out, like, let's say a pro, you know, let's say a pro-Muslim message, or a pro-atheist, or a pro-Christian message. Like, it's purely like debates. That's it. That's all the debate channel is debates. And so we are excited to do our best to give everybody their fair shot. And we want to say thank you guys so much, though. We are absolutely pumped for just the growth of this channel and your guys' support, because like we said, we're excited about that vision of providing a neutral platform so that everybody gets their chance to make their case on a level playing field, as we strive to get different people from different walks of life discussing the big questions of life. So want to say thanks for your support, you guys, in that. And then let's see. Mao Demighty says, I like this channel. I don't like this platform, namely YouTube. Odyssey and Rumble are better. I'm open. We might do, let's see. We might do, what is it? Let's see. Sorry, I'm a little bit sleep deprived. It's been a rough last 5 days of sleep. I'm not on purpose. I try to get 8 hours a night, but I just don't always fall asleep very well. What was your question? Sorry. Oh, yeah. We're open to going on those platforms. I got to figure out how to stream at all of them at the same time. Yatur says, James, what is your position, theist or atheist? I love everybody. So I love atheists. I love theists. I love agnostics, you name it. I'm a theist personally, but for me, I like being friends with atheists. I like being friends with Muslims, Christians, you name it. And then Ahmed says, can we please get a 2-hour Coke versus Pepsi with comparisons of ingredients and methods of creation, everything? Please debate daddy. Thanks for your question. Maybe someday. But yeah, amazing, says Nano. Thanks for your support, Nano. And then, but yeah, it's thanks for your support. Wildlife says this platform is cool with me, and thanks. Doc Twat says James doesn't need people demanding who he's allowed to platform. Yeah, I mean we're definitely going to offend some people. For example, tomorrow the morning debate is probably going to offend a lot of people. Nonetheless, we're going to host it and we're going to like it, and we're not going to apologize, because I'm sure some people might ask for an apology or even demand an apology, but we're not going to. So we think through it. It's not like we just haphazardly are like, yeah, let's host it. And, like we actually do consider what we're hosting before we actually host it. It's not just that we, like, oh, let's just throw this together and not think about it. Because I take it seriously. Like, I actually do think about, like, what are like the ethical like things that are going on here if we host this person or that topic. So, I get it. But F censorship says, let's see. Wow, put me in my. It's like, you're angry. But yeah, we love that you're glad. We're glad that you're here, F censorship. That seriously helps us in the algorithm. And Martin H says that was actually well said. Good night. Thank you, Martin H, for your support. That means a lot. I appreciate you saying that. And then, Mao Demighty says, so you're demisexual. I don't even know what that means. But Travis Pratt, good to see you. And Commentator Warrior, the Jesus Christ follower, thanks for coming by, says, can you bring Christian Prince? I'm open to bringing Christian Prince. I think Muji or the Perfect Dawa wants to debate Christian Prince. So if Christian Prince is open to it, I don't know if he wants to come on. You got to let me know if he's open to that. Let's see. F censorship. Let's see. F censorship. Like, I'm calling you out. I'm going to call you out. You were lying. I don't think I'm bad for saying that because you actually were. And that's the thing is, but when I say attack the arguments instead of the person, if somebody is lying, so like if somebody comes up on the stream and they just flagrantly lie, I'm fine with people saying like, hey, that person's being dishonest. So for example, like let's say that, let me think of an example. Like let's say they pulled up a paper that one of the speakers cited and they said, look, like this paper says the opposite of what the speaker is saying. Like they're not telling the truth. That's fine. What I don't like is when people say like, oh, that person is so disingenuous. Like they have to be dishonest right now. It's like, unless you have evidence, like if you can show me a paper that, shows that they're misleading, and that they're actually like reading, let's say the paper, they're reading it in such a way to misrepresent it, like where it's like, it clearly doesn't say what the person is saying that it says in terms of, let's say, even the title, like totally cool. Like I'm not against people calling people out, but my thing is a lot of times we get this kind of like, oh, hey, you believe in your magic sky daddy, dummy, blah, 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 or you believe in the fairy tale of evolution, dummy. And that stuff is like, okay, that's not useful. So let's see. Jens Brockhoven says, James just likes to cuddle, peeps. It's true. And Mike Keenan says, I like your new sunglasses. Thank you for that, Mike. And then KDips18, thanks for coming by, says, I missed the debate. Might have to rewind it. You definitely should. It was a juicy one tonight. There's no doubt about it. And Bill Pasto, am I saying it right? We're glad you were here. Captain Butt, glad you made it. Thanks so much. Says, this is my go-to channel now. Watching stuff, modern day debate, background noise, modern day debate, sleepy time, modern day debate. You rock, James. Thanks. Seriously, that means a lot. I really do appreciate that. And I get that. I've listened to like, a lot of times I listen to my friends' channels, like, because it's just like if I'm like dozing off or something, it's just comfortable to like listen to like people you consider your friends, So it's like, it's different. Like it's a good feeling. But Brooke Sparrow is right. We've got a Discord, which is linked in the description, and I'm going to pin that to the top of the chat. Let's Farm and others have done a fantastic job of making the Discord for Modern Day Debate. It's the official Discord. They have made it awesome. And so we just want to say we appreciate that. That really does mean a lot. James has got one of the better reputations. Thanks for your kind views. And says a neutral platform for different views to be challenged. I really do appreciate that, Doc. Seriously, that means a lot. And let's see. Comment Warrior, the Jesus Christ follower, says, have you ever been demonetized by YouTube? Only certain videos. We've never had the channel demonetized. You have to be pretty naughty to get your channel just flat out demonetized. Usually what it is they will, they'll give you a warning. And they'll sometimes demonetize some of our videos, but that's like, that's not that weird. A lot of channels have that happen. And then, and I would say it's pretty rare now. Almost everything we have is monetized now. It used to be the case that, for example, if we had a topic on the channel of Abortion, I think I spelled that right, we would get demonetized like every debate on that topic, but now we don't. It's rare that we do, so that's cool. Robo Furry Man, is it Furry Man or Fury Man? I think it's supposed to be Fury. Sorry, Robo Fury Man. We are glad you were with us, but yeah, Ahmed, thank you for your kind words. I seriously appreciate that. Says, literally haven't seen such a neutral host as James. Thank you for your service to dialogue and discussion. Love you, debate, daddy. Thank you for your kind words. We are excited and we really do appreciate it. We really do want to make you feel welcome. Is whether you be Muslim, whether you be atheist, whether you be Christian, you name it. We really are glad you were here. Seriously. And then Doc Twat says, Gavin versus Destiny should be epic. You guys, I got to tell you, it is true. Tomorrow, stick around, hang around the channel tomorrow all day, because in the morning, you can get up with us and you can watch this debate at the bottom right of your screen. It's going to be epic. Apostate Prophet and Khalid are doing this especially controversial topic. I got to be honest. It's the most controversial topic I think we've hosted. So you don't want to miss that one live. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Then tomorrow night, and during the middle of the day, you're like, well, what do I do during the day? We've got a lot of debates. We've got about 690 debates that we've hosted. So I would encourage you, you can actually, you can watch some of those other debates while you're waiting for this one in the bottom right of your screen. Between Destiny and Gavin McGinnis, this is going to be a giant debate. We're really excited about this. And so you guys, you don't want to miss this one. It is going to be amazing. Destiny and Gavin McGinnis are going to be live tomorrow night. We're really excited about that. And they're debating whether or not Joe Rogan's podcast is, you could say, doing more harm than good when it comes to the topic of COVID. So we are excited about that. But let's see here. Happy Camper says, James, have any of the debates change your mind on a topic? Absolutely. I've had my mind change on different. It's usually not like a stance like where I'm like, okay, I moved from being like politically like Democrat to Republican or vice versa. It's not like that. It's more like, oh, that argument I thought was unsound, but now I heard a good defense of it, of the objection that I thought, knocked it down. And so now I'm like, oh, okay, it's actually, so I changed my mind on our argument. Like I've got those examples. But Mike Keenan says, but for serious, I respect you what you do. I'm an atheist and give credit for giving platform to whoever. I do appreciate that. That means a lot, Mike. Seriously, I really do appreciate that. And Rembrandt says, James is naughty and can't spell. I did that on purpose. It's true. Fury, not furry. But yeah, Mike Keenan, you guys are funny. Want to say thanks so much, Sideshow Nav, for all your support. You guys, huge round of applause for Sideshow Nav, who does so much to help this channel and has helped us with the conference, and just I could go on and on about all the things that he's done. So we really do appreciate him. Is it my camera just like totally zoom in on me? Is that just me? But Comment Warrior, Jesus Christ follower says, can you bring Ben Shapiro? LOL, you'll get lots of subscribers. We would get a lot of new subscribers, but I think he's like $50,000. So someday, maybe. Delta November says, James, have you ever considered declaring a winner at the end of the debate? Thanks. No, I don't consider it. The reason is because I think people would be so turned off because everybody usually thinks that their side won. That period. That's just the way it goes. So not always, but like almost always. So I feel like if I do that, there's going to be so many people that are upset. It's the funny thing is the sweet thing with a debate channel is if we just don't declare it, people are happy because they'll declare their side won and they're happy. So like I know, but I'm not to say it's a bad idea. Like I think Dylan Burns pulls it off well. I don't think it's bad. It's just something that for me, I'm like, I'm a little bit nervous. Let's see. Says, James, you think I'm entitled for merely making a comment that I've seen videos where non-paid questions don't get asked? Well, actually, technically, I was talking about people who are entitled because they say, so-and-so, you have to read my question. And if you don't, like, I'm mad. It's like, nope. Like Kaz, for example, he does his best. Same thing for me. It's like you're not entitled to our time or the debater's time. We try our best to read them all, but so no, I wasn't actually saying you were entitled. I was talking about those people that I'm mentioning right now, the ones who complain about that. But the other thing is, you said I've only pointed out that there are some debates where non-paid questions don't get asked. That's not the way you worded it earlier. Before, it's not the way you put it. You did not qualify it like that. You said James only asks paid questions. So again, you just seem to not want to own it, that you were being misleading before. Just own it, man. I don't know why. It's like you just got so much like pride that you're wearing away on your own credibility when people are like, dude, like, well, you know what you said. It's like, you could just own it. It's like you'd look like you were more mature and responsible, and like you were kind of being a man and you're manning up and owning it. But instead, you're just like, no, I didn't say that. It's like, I know what you said. If you would have said it like that, I would have told you that I would have agreed. There's some debates where we run out of time. We don't get to ask every question. So it's like, I would agree with it. That's not the way you put it. You're being extremely charitable to yourself. Lorenzo Borelli says 5'11". Thanks for coming by, Lorenzo. We are glad you were here. I'm about 6'1.5", but good guess. I don't know if you were guessing about me, but Engineer Gaming, glad to see you. Thanks for being with us. And then F Censorship, man, you are just triggered. You are one. You're just, well, we love you. You do help us in the algorithm just by being here, for real. And so, want to say thank you guys for all of your support. We love you guys. Even if you're hate watching, it seriously does help us in the algorithm. So if you hate this channel, we are thankful that you're here. Seriously, it does actually help us, because YouTube basically sees that you're watching, and then they recommend our videos to people that have similar interests as you. And so seriously, we do appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for being with us. We love you guys. We hope you have a great rest of your night. We're excited to see you tomorrow. And thanks. It was good to hang out with you guys tonight. That was almost an hour we got to hang out. It was about maybe 50 minutes. But thank you guys. This makes it fun. I always do. I enjoy hanging out with you guys. And so I love you guys. And I'm excited to see you in the next ones. Keep sifting out the reasonable from the unreasonable. Take care, everybody.